Is this a metal thing?
Yes. Little taste.
David, what is this?
Pretty thick.
Great.
I have to kill a lot of people. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I have big tits and a tiny vagina.
Oil me up, Daddy.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers big tits. Mistletoe alert. This is backcountry.
This guy was a real jerk.
How long can Hugo be pregnant?
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Oh, you're such a dick, David.
Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Ew.
Hoodie Picasso.
Horror.
Hello, and welcome to Horror Movie Talk, your panel of expert hosts each week. I'm Dr. Bryce Hanson. I hold a PhD in spookology. And adjusting his camera is
My name's
Dave,
Oh, I'm sorry.
the foremost expert in scare no-nos.
Bryce, I realized how insane my routine has gotten to get me. Okay, so I have coffee, but not just some coffee. I have a lot of coffee. But then not only do I have a lot of coffee, I have displayed in front of me America's Best Chew. That's a pick me up. And then finally I have Bottled Insanity XL smelling salts just to get me through today.
You need something spicy. You need to have some raw habanero peppers to munch on.
Oh yeah, that's what we need. We need visible upset David.
I know. I was thinking of it, now that we're on YouTube, I think we're obligated to do the makeup, especially me. Let's see. There's one there.
I've always thought I could go with a red lipstick.
Well, you did that one episode.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, I was thinking now that we're on YouTube, we got to do the YouTube challenges. We got to do some, the
That ice bucket
challenge, bucket challenge. The I don't know what else. Planking. Do the kids still do planking? Anyways, we got a great show today. We're reviewing Smile. So a little late to the party on this one. It's still in theaters, but I'm super excited to talk about this. This is going to be an interesting show. So if you're new to Horror Movie Talk, please visit our website at horrormovietalk.com. It's the name of the show with .com after it. It's pretty easy to remember. And there you'll find links to all of our social media, our Patreon, all the different ways you can support us, including our shop. Just want to take a moment and thank our new patrons between last week and this. Thank you to James A., Emma, and Mailman Nick for joining our Patreon. There they get exclusive access to Patreon exclusive, and I think most of them have the access to the early access episodes without the ads. We post new episodes every Wednesday. If you want to call us and leave us a voicemail, call 682-253-4468.
Yeah. Hooray, you did it.
You can leave
It's
us
only been 2.5 years of having that number.
not 2.5 years. We didn't have it from the beginning.
About. I mean,
Well, Horror Movie Talk is nothing but nitpicky. Should we check our voicemail? Why don't we check our voicemail this episode? We'll do that, and then I have a new game called Guess That Smile, where we'll guess the smile of famous horror movie villains. I guess they're mostly villains.
Oh, this is gonna be like a YouTube bit.
Yeah, it's yeah. If you're not on YouTube, you're missing out. It's not going to be a very interesting game in audio format. So how we do every episode, we start out by giving a brief review and a score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bad and 10 being good. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive in what we liked about and hated about the film, and then we'll get into the game stuff. So again, we went to see Smile, and it was traumatastic. Here is the trailer. So, Smile can be found in theaters right now, probably for another week, maybe. But it's going to be available on Blu-ray, DVD in December. I'm sure it'll be streaming forthwith after that. Dr. Rose Cotter, a workaholic psychiatrist at a busy hospital, sees a troubled patient that complains of hallucinations of people with creepy smiles, terrifying her every waking moment. Initially, Dr. Cotter doesn't believe the young woman, but when the same phenomenon begins happening to her, she must investigate the origins of the mysterious curse before it's too late. Is that grammatically correct? Phenomenon or phenomena? Phenomenon. Which one's the plural?
Probably phenomena.
Phenomena. Smile is the first feature-length film from writer-director Parker Finn, which sounds like a superhero alter ego. And it's a retelling and expansion of his short, Laura Hasn't Slept. I haven't been this excited about a new director since Ari Aster. I
Wow.
loved this movie. It has depth, it's well crafted, and it features excellent performances from its cast. Let's start with the tone and theme of the movie. It's an on-the-nose allegory for the long-lasting emotional effects of trauma, which specifically uses trauma as a device in the plot. The fact that it's so on the nose and that I didn't feel like it was ever ham-handed in its delivery makes it all the more impressive to me. The tone is dark and helpless and only sinks deeper throughout. The direction and editing was fantastic. It has some of the best jump scares I've ever witnessed, and somehow they seemed innovative instead of hacky. I jumped and yelled out several times in the theater. In so doing, it reaches the elusive praise of being scary, by which some viewers judge horror movies. The sound design and music should almost get top billing on the poster. I've never been so disoriented and terrorized by ringing phones. The music is deeply unsettling and is composed by Cristobal Tapia de Veer, who did the music for White Lotus on HBO Max, if you're familiar.
Okay. Let's just take a minute here, because I just finished I'm current on White Lotus now.
Did you watch season 1?
Yes. And the music in that is top bill, like it should be the main character. It's so perfect. It's so on point. I'm like, and it is in the front of everything. It's in front of everything. It's in front of almost, if it weren't for the dramatic, like visual style of the whole thing, it would be the standout feature of the whole thing. Such a great show.
Yeah, so Cristobal Tapia de Veer, like, he is another character. Like his compositions are basically another character in The White Lotus and Smile. If you haven't heard White Lotus before, wow, and that's so where were we?
Saucy Bacon.
Saucy Bacon. Saucy Bacon, relative of the famous Travis Bacon, plays Rose, and her devolution into madness was convincing and heart-wrenching. This is being sarcastic. Do you know who her parents actually are?
Saucy. Oh, is that Kevin Bacon? Is
And
Kevin Bacon her papa?
Yep.
Is Kevin Bacon her dad?
Yes.
Saucy Bacon's dad is Kevin fucking Bacon.
And her mother is Kira Sedgwick.
Dude, she's probably such a hit when they play 6 Degrees of Separation from Kevin Bacon. She's like, dude, I came out of his dick. I think I'm basically him. So yeah. I mean, I win.
I'm half him, so I don't know what degree that is. So the characters felt fleshed out and the relationships felt real. There is one scene between Rose and her fiance played by The Boys' Jesse T. Usher that felt false to me, but eventually even that was explained through his character, and the relationship was framed in a way that even made that one moment make sense in retrospect. It's just a lot of care was like taken into framing and explaining these relationships, and they weren't necessarily cookie cutter. Um, it it shows just like an understanding of human psychology, um, and interpersonal relationships that, to me. Um, it's a movie that can be easily compared to They Follow and The Babadook, but it doesn't ever
It
feel
Follows.
Oh yeah, It Follows. Yeah, sorry. I didn't think I'd find another horror movie this year that I'd love as much as Barbarian, but here we are, just weeks later. I can't stress this enough. I'm a jaded, pretentious movie reviewer. For reference, you can see my comments about Terrifier 2 in that review for proof. I no longer watch horror movies out of love or desire. I watch them out of obligation. This movie and Barbarian opened my cold heart and gave me a childlike joy and terror, much like the critic at the end of Ratatouille. Like, I had flashbacks of what it was like to feel again. It was amazing. My faith in filmmaking is restored when I see new creative writer-directors that can still shock and delight me in the movie theater. Thank you, Parker Finn. Personal thank you to the writer-director of Smile, because I love these. I love it when a movie does this to me. You know, that's like the reason for going to see movies, is like it surprises me. It fulfills like all my expectations and tells a great, compelling story. If you haven't guessed it, my score for this is 10 out of 10.
Wow, that is high praise. Unfortunately, I am also a jaded, pretentious movie reviewer, and it stinks. I did not have as good a time as you did at this. And it's feel like, again, like this rarely happens where Bryce likes something and I don't. Like this, it's always the other way, except for occasionally. And this is it's not like I hated this, but it didn't feel right. It just didn't resonate with me on a it I never believed the characters. They all felt a little stilted and distant, and I didn't care about them because of that, because they didn't resonate with me. I was like, that's not a person, that's a bad actress, that's not a person, that's a bad actor, especially her husband, who is a bad actor. I mean, that was shockingly standoutish to me. But now I will say some of the stuff that you've said really resonates. The jump scares in this are masterful, and they really work. However, I was so deep into like looking at my phone and being like, is this 2-hour thing almost done, that a lot of them didn't really land. But I mean, nevertheless, like the jump scares in this are like, if you love jump scares, or if you hate jump scares, this is a great movie for all that. I didn't feel this hits at about a 6 for me. Like, it's fine. It's a little bit better than average for me, but yeah, a lot of this just felt unremarkable to me, and there's but I mean, everything doesn't work for everyone all the time. I mean, there's an element of that going on here, and I think you can chalk some of that up to me being irritated with the lead actress, Saucy Bacon, who, I don't know, for whatever reason, just didn't ring my bell exactly. You know, it just was it's just all the casting felt a little off, and so I don't know, it just didn't hit for me. But I'm really glad it did for you. I will say this: 2022 has been a pretty good year for us, for just horror fans in general. So, and this is not a bad movie. And I could see, I think there's an element in this movie. The whole thing is kind of surrounding trauma, and for some people that's going to hit just right, and for other people, it's going to miss the mark. And for me, it just misses that mark. But I could see a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people saying exactly what you're saying, which is, "Damn, son," damn.
Yeah.
Son.
I that is kind of a wild card, like whether you believe a performance or not. And like I thought it was great, because mostly, like, I could see how you could how people could look at her performance, Sosie Bacon's performance, as like over the top, and like that's valid. But what she's portraying is this like razor thin line between like acting actually crazy, like to where it's like, oh, this person could actually just be hallucinating all these things and this isn't real at all, and acting like it's actually happening, and she's so desperate and like panicking because of what's happening to her, where it's like, I feel like that line is walked on very well.
Yeah, I mean, kinda. Like Micah Monroe in It Follows, that was actually another big downside to this movie. Was I just felt like it was just a direct ripoff of It Follows, and The Ring a little bit. Like it was like the origin story of It Follows, kind of like. So I just kept seeing all these parallels and being like, okay, but that was like 5 years ago, like just being like, that wasn't so long ago that it's out of my memory. I mean, look, I mean, tropes are tropes, and I get it, but it was so similar, and Micah Monroe really pulls it off in It Follows. But there's an element of It Follows that is set in reality, where this is set in someone's psyche. So I guess it has carte blanche a little bit to do what it wants, but I don't know. I that was another downside, was I just kept being like, oh, this is The Ring and It Follows together, kind of.
Yeah. Like in terms of, I mean, yeah, The Ring in terms of a curse and passing it on to others, and then It Follows in that they're
Everything
seeing
else.
things that other can't, and it's tormenting them,
and that it's passed on
right
through. Yeah, it's.
Before we get into spoilers, speaking of which, let's talk about commercials. I hate them. You hate them. You don't have to listen to these. You can go to our Patreon and sign up for the tier where you get commercial-free episodes of Horror Movie Talk. You can't do it this time. You're listening to commercial right now. It's too late.
You could pause it and then go and then get to this part, and then you wouldn't even get to this part. You try to find it.
Right. So go to either our website and click through to Patreon, or go to patreon.com/horrormovietalk and check out the different tiers and perks there. Got a great community, and again, thank you to our new members. Also, check out our Horror Movie Talk shop. There you'll find shirts like this one.
And this one.
And Team Bat and Team Spear shirts. And that goes directly into our pockets so we can buy hookers and Coke. These designs, our logo, and the Team Bat, Team Spear designs, and all of the artwork for the show is done by Dustin Goebel. He's a professional artist who fucks hard. He also, see, you didn't even have to listen to these belches if you were on Patreon.
Wow.
So he also takes commissions. If you contact him on Instagram at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram. If you want to call and leave us a voicemail, call 682-253-4468. We should come up with a jingle for the phone number.
Yeah, well, maybe we could do you have one?
Let's see. To leave a voicemail at HMT, call 682-253-4468. That's 4468 is last numbers of the phone number. Peace out.
Damn! Bravo, way to go, buddy.
I should hook these up more often. Okay, let's get into spoiler. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that you didn't like it as much. Like, I mean, I didn't expect you to give it a 10, but a 6 is, that's you live and you learn. People receive things differently. And there's a lot of wild cards. Acting is one of them, and like tone or plot is like, if you just feel it's like, I've seen this before, you can turn off your brain to it. Yeah, I can see that. Like I was into it, and I think maybe part of it was like, had a really good experience at the theater. There was enough people in there where it was like, it was, the shared experience. There's a bunch of teenagers in the theater. Like, I think there was some kind of sleepover that was taking a movie break or something, because there's like 5 or 6 like 14, 15-year-old girls in like pajamas and blankets with them. And they were, having a good old time. And then after the movie ended, I saw there was like this little boy that was like he had to have been like 7, like max. And I was like, holy shit.
There's a real soft spot in my heart that's just like, don't, like, that's too much. This is too way, oh my God, way too much for a 7-year-old. 7-year-old me would never fucking sleep again. I slept with the lights on until I was like fucking 10 years old because of Skeletor. All right? Like, if I had seen Smile, I would have I wouldn't be doing this show. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine how that kid would be okay watching it, but kids are different. Parents know their kids. That's the other thing. Like some kids have a pretty high tolerance for stuff and can like realize that it's a movie, and that it's not real.
I don't know, man.
That age
I feel sorry for that kid.
Pretty early.
Yeah. I feel sorry for the kid that's able to sit through Smile and be like, you know what? I see where all the practical effects come in. It's like, I don't want to know what his backstory is or her backstory is. But, it's interesting. Like, this was a pretty well attended movie. Like, we're a couple weeks past. Like, we're like maybe a month past when this came out originally.
Yeah. So it released. Let's see. Where's the wide release? Released at the end of September.
Yeah, so maybe a month and a week after this came out. My theater was pretty well attended as well, mostly younger people, and it's so strange to me. Well, it's there's this element of me having seen every fucking horror movie ever made, and just being jaded horror fan. Where I mean, we sit through movies and something fucking super deranged will happen, and our immediate inclination is to giggle or laugh or something like that. And the theater, which had, I don't know, 20 people in it, deadly silent, and like people would turn and be like, who's this fucking freako back here laughing? You know, a head comes down and everybody and I'm like, and then so I don't know, it might have been me feeling like, oh, this is
You felt
upsetting.
seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is upsetting. I'm shouldn't be here. Like,
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, the jump scare, let's just like jump forward to the jump scares, like so good. Like I'm especially jaded about jump scares. And part of it is The Conjuring was just built off of the formula of these jump scares where it's like, okay, dark hallway, they're moving through. Wait, there's no soundtrack. There's zero sound. And we're waiting, and you're waiting. Something's going to jump out. We're waiting. Oh, it's just a kitten. There's nothing. Jump scare. That's like that's the formula of like, okay, we know exactly what's going to happen. We know what the setup is. And this one, like at least 4 times, I was completely caught off guard with the jump scares. Like it doesn't follow the template is what I'm saying. And even when it does, the jump scare is unique and creative. Like with the one that you mentioned where it was the bent neck lady. So her sister like walks up to the car with purpose. And I was thinking to myself at the time, like, it's been a while since she's had like kind of an attack by the smile monster. And I'm just like, well, it's going to happen now. And then like her sister walks up with purpose and you're like, okay, well, here it comes, you know, and you're expecting her to just like bend down and, you know, smile into the window. Instead, her neck like snaps and it's like a reverse Exorcist. Like her neck becomes elongated and then like falls into frame. It's like, Jesus Christ. I can't. It was really effective.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, definitely top 5 on most skillfully executed jump scares list. But I will say my number 1. Anybody who hasn't heard me gush about this in a while, well, here it comes again. 2017 Argentinian movie called Terrified, not Terrifier, Terrified with a D, is, in my opinion, the heavy hitter of jump scares. And I don't know that I will ever change my mind on that. What do you think? Do you think this one is better than that?
I mean, for me, yeah. I mean, these.
Wow.
I remember one good jump scare from Terrified that like is memorable to me, and I can't remember any other ones. And this one like had 4 or 5, and like I don't know. It could be like a mood thing. It could be a setting thing. Like who knows? But yeah, they're both really good and skillful and unique. What was the other one? Like a lot of the jump scares were, and a lot of like the success of the movie for me comes from the sound. The sound design was so good. I don't know how they made something sound so loud. Like the phone and like the house alarm, like all these alarming sounds sounded so alarming. And they used the dynamic range to their benefit a lot. Like they really saved those loud parts for the parts that they needed to be loud. And it was disorienting because like it would make things that aren't normally loud very loud. And so like it just jostles you. So starts out with kind of a flashback. There's this dead lady on a bed. We later find out that that's the main character's mom that she saw die. The main character is a psychiatrist working in a busy hospital. She starts out by seeing this bipolar guy that's, you know, obviously very troubled. So it's setting up like the character deals with insane people on the regular. Like, she's only seen the craziest of the crazy. Can you imagine being a psychiatrist at a hospital where it's like, all the crazy ranting and raving people that you see on the streets of Portland? And these people only see the ones that are like, well, that's too much. We got to take him and get him into the hospital. Like,
for like 15 years, that was my sister-in-law's job. She was the head of that, a social program in Vancouver that did that, and she was literally this person. Not an easy job, very, very, and turns you. I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, the things she saw and would talk about off the cuff was just like, really? And she'd be like, yeah, it's crazy weekend. And you're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, there's some jobs where you just do not realize how often they experience the most horrendous, like heart-wrenching and soul-deadening things just on the regular. Like, my brother-in-law was a cop, or a state trooper. He's still a cop, but not a state trooper. But just on the regular, just seeing, horrible car wrecks where people are mangled and just bodies ground up.
Yeah, so I have a very scary story that I am recalling now with a happy ending. So listener, do not worry. Well, be worried a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen. This one fella came in. I mean, so we're talking about, just really the people who have really lost their minds and are out on the street. This fella came in with a couple of cats in a bag. And he was like, you guys got a gun or something like this. I can't remember the exact story, but he's like, I gotta kill these cats. And she was like, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we do. So like, why don't you just kind of like he's like, you know what? You don't got a gun. I'm going to take him around, but I'm just going to stomp him to death. It's going to be okay. I'm just going to stomp these little kittens. I'm going to stomp them. And she's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got a gun in the other room. I'm going to go get it. You just, we'll just take you in she get the kittens and she has them now. Like, they're her cats, because she separated the cats from the stompy man. And, yeah, she got unstomped on cats, free from stomping.
Oh, good. Some people like them stomped, but
yeah, whoop.
So she sees this guy, and it operates to like establish, number one, that she sees horrible shit on the regular, but also establishes the idea, not unique, is that this is all in the guy's head, and she's trying to, tell him and be super understanding and empathetic that, like, I know it feels very real to you, like what you're experiencing right now, but it is inside your head, and it's not reflecting reality. So, because the guy's just repeating, I'm going to die, she's going to die, like over and over and over and over again. And getting him to accept that it's all in his head is a futile exercise with someone that's basically experiencing like manic psychosis.
Well, and at that point, it doesn't really matter if it's not real, because it's real
Right.
to you. It's like,
Right.
okay, great. So it's not in reality. I'm still dealing with it as though it's real. It's just fucking real. Like it's what is real at that point.
Right. And then the second patient comes in, Laura, and she's traumatized because she just witnessed a professor bludgeon himself to death with a hammer. And she explains to Rose that she's experiencing this the phenomena that the movie's based on, which is she's seen people that other people don't, that are smiling like threatening smiles, and that it's some kind of entity that looks like people, that wears faces like masks, is how she described it. And the way that it's told to the audience and to Rose, in the dialogue, it makes it sound a lot like people that are delusional. Like it's not, they're not explaining it rationally and calmly. It's coming from someone that's panicking. And that just on the surface feels crazy. It's like, well, this isn't real. This is the way someone that's crazy would act. And then very quickly, like, Laura like disappears from the frame. And it's really creepy. And then it pans over and we see Laura now with this creepy ass smile, and she slits her own throat with like a shard of pottery. And it's a really effective scene for like kicking off the movie. And then especially as you see her corpse on the floor still with this really creepy smile. And Rose is traumatized and then eventually starts experiencing the exact same thing that Laura described. So I really appreciated like how they treated these themes and how they played with these different themes and had enough wiggle room with interpretation that it kept me engaged throughout. So like they played with the themes of despair, what is reality, especially trauma. Trauma was like the main theme. But even like themes of like putting a mask on or smiling through the pain, like all the stuff that's surrounding trauma and like worldview and how you're trying to, you know, appear to others as not struggling or not insane, is really interesting. And then also just like around the concept of having a psychotic break around other people, and like that is kind of terrifying. Thinking like, what would it be like to have an actual psychotic break, and what would that feel like internally compared to like what other people are experiencing and how they're perceiving you. And it handles it really well, even though it's pretty on the nose with some of like the, you know, allegory, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it is really heavy with the allegory, but nevertheless it does seem to be an apropos thing. It's interesting. I cannot remember which movie we talked about recently where this came up, where I was like, this is a real fear of mine, is losing my mind, kind of, you know, like and what do you remember which one that was? What were we talking about? Which movie were we
I remember that discussion too.
But anywho, regardless, we had that conversation recently.
The Human Centipede too.
No. And so we've been talking about it recently, and I was like, yeah. Oh, it was They Look Like People.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which is a review,
Patreon exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Patreon pretentious review. And you in that said, you know, that's not really something I'm scared of. You know, I don't. You know, I kind of assumed that this kind of thing worked on me better than it did you. But now I'm hearing you. What is it about this movie that how it portrays that hits, whereas They Look Like People? How do those two contrast for you?
I mean, I like both of them. I think they're both like really good at portraying mental illness and like psychotic breaks. But I think I both appreciate them from like an intellectual point of view, or just like as an outside observer. I don't ever like put it as like, this is a fear of mine, or like this is something that I feel would happen to me, just because I don't know. Maybe it's an ego thing. I'm like, my brain is too strong. to my brain is too strong for that. Strong brain.
This is for dopey dum-dums. I can't.
Right.
I'm not a dum-dum.
Well, after trying mushrooms, like, my brain is too strong for mushrooms. Didn't do shit, so.
That's right. Yeah, Bryce recently tried more mushrooms than anybody should really ever try, and it doesn't quite really touch him so much. So there's something going on with his Viking blood that's
Right.
not allowing him. You're all dum-dums compared to Bryce, is what we're trying to say.
This is really gonna help me after being called out for being pretentious in Terrifier 2 review. I don't like. It's not a personal fear, but it's something I very, very much appreciate. That I do believe, and I can empathize with people that are experiencing what they feel is very, very real, that isn't reflected in the observable universe, I guess. And everyone has mental issues, and it's just a different flavor. It's like I can put my depression up against anyone's any day, and it's also not reflective of reality. It's all the negative self-talk and the way I view the world is not true, and it's not helpful. And it's holding me back in the same way that people that are experiencing psychotic breaks or psychosis are it's how they view the world, and it's not helping them, and it's holding them back. And you just look at them, you're like, why can't you just look around, look at what reality is?
It's some sort of personal compartmentalization where you go, I'm okay, except for the things that I know are bad about me, and I've got those compartmentalized correctly so that I
Right.
can continue to enjoy life, almost not at all, but enough to keep going.
Right, exactly.
We have fun on Horror Movie Talk. It's good times.
Another thing that they throw into the mix of making it plausible that this could be all in Rose's head is they establish that she's sleep deprived. She just does not sleep, and she is working way too much. And so at the beginning, at least, it's possible that this could be all in her head, or kind of affected by this trauma. Let's see. I had kind of a non sequitur question. Do they wash body bags?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think they have I would think that they have a industrial sized dishwasher that they just hang them all up in, and then they just hit go on it, and they throw one whole bottle of Clorox in there, and then and then it's good.
See, I feel like that'd be rough. They must turn them inside out.
But why clean them?
Because what if there's what if there's goop and remnants and stuff in there in the crevices, and when you wash it, it's
oh yeah, got it. Turn it upside down and spin it again.
Yeah.
I
don't know why I thought that, but
no, I'm interested. To me, when I hear about your sleeps, I go, that man is sleep deprived. But you don't seem. I don't think you think that about yourself at all. But and some people don't need as much sleep. So was there a part of that hit for you in this?
No, not necessarily, because she's shown as looking exhausted and sleep deprived, and I don't know. Sure, I could get more sleep, but it's kind of one of those things where.
No, you didn't. You'd never look like her. I mean, sometimes when you really haven't actually slept, but typically, you get a significant amount of less sleep than I do, and seem to function just fine.
How many hours of sleep do you usually get?
Probably 8.
Yeah, I get 6. 6.5 usually.
Yeah, it seems like not very much to me, but I know plenty of people who do that.
Yeah, sleep is weird. You can. there's definitely benefits to getting like 8 or more hours of sleep. I will say, like, I probably don't dream as much as I could, just because I don't stay in that kind of REM, like the liminal space between being like fully asleep and being awake. But yeah, I feel fine. So, and I know like it's enough sleep because I'll wake up automatically. Like when when the daylight savings happened, like I didn't have to have my alarm on, and I woke up right at like 6:20, like right at like my time when I would normally wake up with an alarm. So it is what it is. So weird stuff starts happening to Rose. She sees that first bipolar patient smiling, gets really disturbed. She calls the orderlies, and when they go in, like when it pans back, you see that he's not in the position that she saw him in. Like he was, when she was looking at him, he was very threatening and like basically approaching her. And when it pans back, he's just like lying on the bed passive when the security walks in the room. So it's like, oh, this isn't really happening. Later, she's in her house alone. The loudest house alarm in the world goes off. And this is one that like kind of pulled me out after I gave it a thought for a second, because house alarms would never go off like that, ever. Have you ever had a house alarm? Like a security system on a house?
I used to install them a lot.
Yeah. So how, if you were to just like kick in a door on a house that had a house alarm, or just shatter a window and like jump through, what would the house alarm do?
Well, the alarms that I installed had had two sirens. They had an interior siren, which was much lower wattage and voltage, and it would go off inside the house pretty loudly. And then there was a very large siren that we would put up in like a bird block of the roof, so that it would project outside, so it would go woo 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 outside. So yeah, I mean, this seemed realistic to the alarms that I would install. And all of that is just meant to freak somebody out, to just be like, you're breaking in, we know, like everybody
Right.
on the block can hear it and knows about it.
Right. The point I'm trying to make is it doesn't go off the instant that you open the door.
Oh,
It doesn't go from 0 to screeching alarm, because if that were the case, no one would ever turn on their alarm because they dread walking into their own house every time.
no, this is accurate. So if you set it to, there's two settings, home and away. If you set it to away, then yeah, the alarm will give you a grace period of like 15, 20, 30 seconds to come in and punch in the code. But if you're home, this is exactly what it's supposed. You set it to home, and then when someone opens the door, it goes off boom like that, because it knows you're home and it needs to protect you right now.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have your expertise, because every time I associate it with like you open the door and it goes boo beep.
That's
boo, beep.
that's the away
It
setting.
gives you like a good like 60 Mississippi before it starts like the actual alarm.
And that's only on the main door that you use to come in and punch in on the code. If you're away, if you have your thing set to away and one of the windows opens up, boom, it goes off immediately. So it's only set to one switch to let you come in and punch it in. If you come in from some other door that's not one of the main doors, then it'll go off immediately, just like this.
Well, good job, house alarm companies. You have an excellent product. And then she can't see anyone that appeared, and then she gets the loudest phone call ever, and
She's got a landline.
Right. Yeah, that's probably the least believable thing in the movie.
Scariest part of the whole movie.
She gets a call on her landline from the security company operator like doing the generic like, we got an alert, and she's like, no one's here or whatever, and then the security company operator like turns nefarious and is like, oh wait, this isn't the security company operator. She's like, look behind you.
Ugh.
Fuck.
Dude, this was the scariest. This movie would do that. This is the best thing this movie did. It would do the 1974 Black Christmas, like the calls coming from inside the house, like a lot and really well. And so she'd be like on the phone or talking to someone, and you'd be like, okay, we're getting things under control. Like some traumatic thing happens, somebody's here. Okay, good. This bad thing happened. And then the person be like, oh, really? Wah, 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 wah. And it would gaslight you into feeling safety and then jerk that rug out from under you. And it did that. That was one of the main things this did. And the one at the end was like that really saved a lot of this movie for me. I was just like, God damn, bravo. Like, this was great. Like the false security in this is really great.
Right. Yeah. One of the best jump scares happens pretty soon after this. So she's listening to the playback. She recorded her meeting with Laura, the original, Smile girl. And she listens to the playback, and in the silence she can hear like, it's one of like the, what is it, EVP things. Like you see this in all the Ghost Hunter shows where it's like, oh, if you turn the volume all the way up, you can hear, did you hear that? It said, help me. Listen again. I'll turn it all the way up. Oh my God, it's a ghost. And so it's like following that trope where like you can barely hear like a whisper, and then the last time when she like cranks it to 11, there's nothing at all. Like there's zero sound. You're like, and even though you know that there's going to be a jump scare, it was the most fucking alarming jump scare in the movie for me, because she turns around, there's like one of these smiling faces, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
It's all about subverting your expectations, right? It's like, well, they're going to expect this, so let's give them that. Like, they'll never expect a face when we're trying to listen to, like, they expect a loud sound.
I wonder what score you'd give this movie if we watched this together in the theater, because I think it's always a good experience for you to be around me when I have a jump scare, because I think you get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I think you would have enjoyed how many times I was like out of my seat in this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was not in it enough to, I mean, I definitely recognized that the jump scares were world class, but they just didn't hit me. And yeah, I think having you next to me just jumping out of your skin would have definitely been more enjoyable, and probably put me closer to the movie.
Right. Okay, so I want to skip forward. There was one like moment that felt false to me, and I want to explain. I mentioned this in the review section. I just want to explain what I was talking about. So this is the scene where I could probably get close to agreeing with you that Jessie T. Usher, who played the fiance, didn't do a great job acting. It was where, like, this is after Rose makes a scene, I mean, more than just a scene, at her nephew's birthday party. She gives him a dead cat as a birthday present, which is frowned upon. And like the fiance is like, my fiance is crazy. Like, you're a crazy person. And Rose is trying to explain what she's going through. And like, instead of showing any kind of empathy or concern, like the fiance was like, I looked it up on the internet, and they say that mental health is genetic. And it was like the dialogue just felt like way off. It was like, why this feels just kind of silly of like what point are you making here? And just the acting of like, this is not how a fiance would act around someone that they loved, There was zero concern. And I was like, that's so weird that it's so off compared, because everything else landed in the movie in terms of relationships, whether there's different levels of like acting chops, but like her relationship with her sister and with her like boss and coworkers and the cop, like those all felt like grounded in some kind of reality. But this moment was like, no fiance would treat his partner like this. But to the movie's credit, it does like frame the relationship in a way where that makes sense, because later in the film, Rose talks about herself and also confronts her fiance separately. So first she confronts her
She's
fiance
like,
and basically,
you've been acting so terribly lately. What is the deal with your terrible acting? And he's like, I'm sorry, sweetie. I just haven't.
No, she confronts her fiance and says basically, you're only supportive when everything's going well. Like basically saying like, as long as everything goes well, you're great. But the instant that something becomes difficult, like you're trying to like, disassociate from me or whatever. So that's the first one, which is like, okay, that lays some groundwork there with like between their relationship. And the second one is later in the film, she's talking with the cop, which she has history with, which isn't explained till later in the film. But yeah, in this scene, it explains her relationship with the cop and her fiance, which is, she explains how her personality is, she doesn't want to allow other people in, and she doesn't want them to be close. So she closes off like the emotional aspects of her, and once she feels vulnerable and starts sharing, her true self with her partners, which this cop was one, she panics and leaves. And so that sets up the relationship. Number one with the cop was like, oh, they didn't leave under bad circumstances. It was like she panicked and ran because she felt too close and too vulnerable. And two, it sets up that her relationship with her fiance was a reaction to that, which is, I can be with a person that's distant and doesn't allow me to open up, and I can put on this facade, again, like this mask that they're kind of as a theme in the movie. And so
that's a really good explanation.
That kind of shit really impresses me from like a screenwriter, because it's like, that is nuanced enough to where it's like it shows an understanding of human relationships and psychology, but also it's simple enough to where an audience can understand it. And
yeah, it's a little too through the looking glass, because it came off as just bad acting to me. I mean, if it was intentional, bravo, but also you missed the mark a little bit, because it didn't feel quite real to me. A good example of this, and I think this is a directorial problem, maybe not the actor's problem, and I'll illustrate that by talking about Rainn Wilson, who arguably portrayed one of the most impressive characters ever in Dwight Schrute on The Office, and has everybody on his side as Dwight Schrute. Meanwhile, he has other roles where, like House of a Thousand Corpses or The Meg, where you're just like, is this the same guy? Like, this is so, like, his acting is so bad. And I think you can chalk it up to like bad editing and bad directing. And that's just Rainn Wilson. I won't go into necessarily this kid, but it did feel a bit like something was a little off. But anyway, I like your explanation of it, and it does make me want to suspend my disbelief.
Well, shots fired towards Rainn Wilson.
No, again, I think it's indisputable that Rainn Wilson, when given good direction and like a character to portray, like look at Galaxy Quest. Like he really can nail hard to portray stuff, but when he's given some dopey idiot, he
Right.
just comes off as a dopey idiot, a bad actor. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's revealed as Rose is like investigating this, and she uses her cop X to help her, that these suicides and this like being tormented by the smile monster or whatever, or the smile entity, there's like a string back 20 people to where like you can say, oh, okay, so Laura witnessed her professor kill himself, and then he witnessed someone else kill himself, and like they string it back, and then sorry, what are you smiling about?
Oh,
David?
I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot entirely about this. This is my actual full 100, like my biggest beef with this movie is like, if anybody had done the lightest amount of lifting on any of these cases at all, they would uncover this string of suicides dating just like it's like the easiest
because the
to
longest
follow.
the longest between it is a week, and so
The
it's
easiest
literally
to
like
follow breadcrumb trail in existence, and it's the premise of the whole movie, which I don't know. I was like, how are we? How many shitty cops, detectives are there out there that everybody is missing this except for us? I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I think it's completely believable because like, why would the cop look back? It's like, and why would the cop? I mean, it's basically they're filing a police report on someone that committed suicide. It's not a big mystery. It's like, yeah, they killed themselves, and it was pretty fucked up. Well, wrote that down. See you later. Like they're not looking into the background or why someone killed themselves ever.
Detectives, listen, if we have detectives in the audience, please reach out to us and tell us the likelihood of this happening, because this brought me straight out of the movie. I was like, listen, I've seen 7.
So it goes back like 20 people, but there's only 19 victims, and they found this one guy that skipped the pattern, and they find out how he did it, and Rosie interviews him, is that he killed someone instead of killed himself. But the caveat is you have to kill someone in front of someone else in a horrifying way so that person that witnessed it is traumatized and that passes on to them. So it very explicitly states that this entity travels through trauma. It needs to spread through trauma by witnessing a horrific death, and then it latches on to people. And it's kind of established through the backstory, and like the little that we learn about the previous victims is like it kind of preys on people that are already susceptible anyways, because Rose had the trauma of seeing her mom die. I think it mentions the professor saw his brother die when he was younger, and so there's all these seeds of like, yeah, they already have a traumatic past and then get targeted by this trauma monster basically. And so her reaction is, well, first she considers like going and killing someone, and there's another one of these fake outs where it shows her doing that, and then she wakes up and was like, oh no, I haven't done it. And then she panics and then goes to her childhood house to be alone and seclude herself. And this is like where it kind of puts a bow on the allegory for trauma, because the way she tries to beat it is by confronting past trauma. And so she goes to her childhood house where her mom died and goes into the room where her mom died, and like you see her relive it. And
it's really important that she do this without anybody else around, because as long as no one else is around, she can't pass the trauma on to someone else.
Right. And this ending is actually very similar to another horror movie that we should probably review sometime, which is called Fallen. Have you ever seen Fallen
I have not.
with Denzel Washington and
Oh,
John
yes.
Goodman?
Oh, wait. Is that the one where the touch the demon transfers through touch?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, John Goodman's in that?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That's a fabulous movie. That's my favorite Denzel movie.
Yeah, it's like it's a possession movie, but with like really, you have to be able to touch, the demon has to touch someone else to transfer. And so like the way Denzel tries to fight it is go out into the woods and kill himself, basically. Spoilers. It's okay. He doesn't succeed. So this movie kind of takes that route, and tries to address past trauma and confront this trauma / smile monster. And it seems like she's overcome it. And that's the last fake out. Because like there's really only one way you can end this movie. Like if they actually had like, oh, she triumphed over evil, it's like, no, it's not gonna, not for this movie.
I would have liked that. I really like, sometimes it doesn't always have to end the worst possible way, and I like those. I like it when you can get a win. Like, don't get me wrong, I like it when they lose too. Like it's that's satisfyingly realistic, but it's also like, oh damn it,
Yeah, like it would put like a nice hat, like the finishing touches on the allegory of like, yes, this is how you overcome trauma, is by confronting it. And it's a good message. But fuck the message. Fuck the message. Trauma will kill you. So here we go.
Dude, that final scene with that fucking gigantic monster cramming his way into her head.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. That was whew.
So yeah, I love this movie. Like was as enjoyable to me as Barbarian, and like in a different way. Like Barbarian is like just tickled my funny bone of like, this is ridiculous and it's pulled off in the perfect way. And this one is just the perfect mix of psychological horror and like just disturbing imagery and jump scares. Like it does really well. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that we reviewed it.
I'm glad we reviewed it too. So Barbarian and Hatching this year have been just knocked out of the park. Just amazing horror for me. But next week we're going to be releasing a review of a movie called Dashcam, and we're going to be interviewing the lead actress Annie Hardy herself, and that's the other movie that just knocked it out of the park for me this year. So watch that this week.
Well, that came out 21, I think.
No, it did not. No, it came out in 2022. It hit the circuits in 21.
Okay.
So anyway, watch Dashcam. It's on Hulu, and the reason it knocked it out of the park is Annie Hardy herself. So in my opinion, that's for me. So
hey, who would you recommend Smile to?
Oh, this is like a real. I mean, this is a young person's movie to me, just because it's a lot of jump scares. Or if you just really enjoy jump scares, if you thought The Conjuring was fucking badass, like this will knock your socks off, because this does jump scares better than The Conjuring. Yeah, if you're interested, also if you're just interested in new good horror, this is not bad. And he's a very competent horror director. In some regards, for me. So yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Like if you're a fan of jump scares, Conjuring, like this will give you a lot of those. I also like if you're a fan of the elevated horror. So if you liked It Follows, if you liked The Babadook, those movies, this is right up your alley because it adds that psychological element that I think does really well.
Hey, should we skip horrors? And we're
could.
running a little long.
Okay, let's skip right forward to the game.
Ooh.
Famous horror movie smiles. So in this game, David, you'll
Yeah.
be shown, I think I have 7, a series of 7 smiles from horror
Okay.
movies, and you have to guess who it's from. I'll accept the name of the actor or the name of the character. Bonus point. Well, no, not bonus point. Or, if you know the movie or whatever. So if you can name the character, actor, or movie, you get a point.
Okay. For those listening, you should know that you can come see those smiles over at our YouTube channel. And to get there, you just go to our website, horrormovietalk.com, and follow the YouTube link. Or, it's just search for Horror Movie Talk.
Just go to YouTube. Horror Movie Talk. We're on there. All right. First smile.
Okay. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we have kind of I think I know what this is. This is Jack Torrance in The Shining, I believe. Is that
Correct.
Hell
Jack
yeah.
Torrance / Jack Nicholson.
I mean, you started with the most iconic smile in all of horror, probably. Yeah. So
okay, next.
what we got? Ooh, that looks like the mouth of a lady. But also I see like these you can't see where my mouse is right now, but these canines are a little established. This could be like it's a little full-lipped to be Tom Cruise in Interview with the Vampire. I'm going to say maybe, is that Brad Pitt in Interview with the Vampire? It looks
You
like
got
a lady.
the movie. You're
Oh, is it
wrong.
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Okay. So I did say his name. Maybe that's a half a point, and I got the movie. So maybe
That's a half a point. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Next.
Beautiful lady. Look at that. Oh, I was talking about Tom Cruise. This. Okay, there's a lot of sunlight coming in. Definitely a lady's smile. Not like that fake lady from before, although I don't know Tom Cruise's pronouns. So this is tough. Should I know this? I mean, do you think I've heard of this movie?
We've recently reviewed this movie. We've recently reviewed this movie.
We've recently reviewed this movie.
Yes.
The best that I can do on this one. Is this Buffy the Vampire Slayer? No, that can't be right. But that's what I'm going to guess.
This is Harvey Stevens or Damien from The Omen.
Oh, I thought it was a sexy lady. It was just a little kid. Oh, no.
Little kid.
Oh, no.
You're attracted to little children.
I'm not.
We found out. Okay, next one. This should be easy.
Oh, that's got to be Freddy. That's got to be Freddy Krueger.
Correct. Robert Englund / Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
I like this game. I like it.
Another iconic smile.
Oh, dude. This is the dude in Men. The only dude in Men. The only man in Men. Right?
Is that your final answer?
I think so.
Wrong.
No.
It's Julian Beck or Kane from Poltergeist 2, The Other Side.
Damn. Okay. What do I got? How many have we done?
You've got 2.5.
2.5 out of how many have we done?
There's 7 total. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th one. So
Okay.
you're gonna have to pull
I
out the
have to
next
get these-
2,
Yeah, gonna get these next two.
which, to be honest, aren't too hard.
Okay. Oh, are you? How am I supposed to? It's just a smug little smirk. It's not- I can't pull this out. I mean, it kind of looks like the lighting from American Psycho. So I'm gonna say maybe it's Patrick Bateman.
Correct. Christian Bale, Patrick Bateman
Damn.
from American Psycho pulled it out.
Oh wow! I can't believe that I'm doing this. Okay.
Right. So right now you
was-
stand at 3.5, which is exactly half.
Of if we had the full thing.
Yeah. So this
you know,
one-
I
this
did
next
that.
one-
You know, I did that entirely on like the temperature of the lighting, like, like I was just like that. Kind of looks like I've seen American Psycho like 50 times. So
Well, see, I thought you would have got it from just the smugness. Like that. That's very much like,
You know-
those dimples are definitely Patrick Bateman dimples.
you know, but what it is it's sometimes you just get so stumped by just the genericness of something that your mind just goes blank.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, okay, last one. This is it.
Last one. This is make it or tie it.
Okay.
So
Oh,
the
I'm gonna-
lowest
okay.
resolution one.
Yeah, this is really tough because it's already low resolution. Oh God.
Whose smudge is this?
Okay. Do I know this?
Yep, we've reviewed this one too.
Recently?
Not recently. Not recently.
There's no way I get this. Is this an
I'll-
iconic?
Yes, this is a top 10 horror movie.
This is a top 10 horror movie.
In my opinion, yeah.
This has got to be Silence of the Lambs.
You did it! Anthony Hopkins, Dr.
Yeah!
Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs.
Fuck
pulled it
yeah,
out.
dude. I looked at it for a while. I was like, that smudge looks a lot like Anthony Hopkins' smudge. This is a fucking awesome game, and I love this game. Oh wow.
I'm happy for you.
I'm happy too. Wow, bro, you made like this is the first new game that could easily be a game for years.
And only works on video.
It's great. We need people to hop on over to our YouTube channel and subscribe over there, so it works out.
Okay. All right, well that was fun. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Horror Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoy the show, share it with a friend. And if you want to see that last game, go to YouTube's and search for Horror Movie Talk. And for the latest episode, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and gargle my balls. Thank you. Call 682-253-4468 to leave us a voicemail, and we'll get to it eventually.
And watch Dashcam.
Watch Dashcam for next week. Love you. Bye-bye.
We love you. Bye.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir. You lose. You get nothing.
Is that a raincoat? Yes, it is.
I just had to stroll through the scraggly woods.
He had no face.
Horror.
Wow, that didn't sound good.